Let's expand on the conversation. We speak to Dr. Ongama Mtimka, who's a political analyst, for more. A very good evening to you, Dr. Mtimka. Thank you for your time. Listening to the court argument, we know the president's lawyers have argued that the EFF's true complaint in the Concord attack on Parliament's decision not to impeach President Cyril Ramaphosa over this Phala Phala controversy is that a democratic process failed to deliver the outcome which was preferred. What's your perspective on the case?
Sure. So good evening to you and your viewers. Thank you for having me, Mpo. This is interesting. So the Section 89 of the South African Constitution provides grounds for the removal of a sitting president. And it states that the president may be removed from office by 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly only on the grounds of a serious violation of the Constitution or the law, serious misconduct, or inability to perform the functions of office. Now, the latter two, serious misconduct or inability to perform, is a function of the general opinion of the members of the Assembly, and in fact, it may be evaluation, especially the latter, of performance. Where the test would be interesting is on this issue of a violation of the Constitution or the law, which the Phala Phala issue, in my view, falls under. The recommendation of the Section 189, the Ngcobo committee was that of the panel. Was that there is certainly a case to answer for the president, but that was not a finding that states that the president is guilty of misconduct or a violation of the law. Now, what is interesting about this is that if then the parliament votes on the basis that the majority of the House feels that there isn't a misconduct or, in fact, failure to perform duties, then the case is closed. Because what you need for the serious violation of the law is especially given the criminal nature of the allegations here, you need something that has got a much higher test. When I saw that the debate, for example, today were centered around the how weighty, how useful is the Ngcobo report when it comes to this issue of whether the president has got a case to answer, given the fact that the allegations are of a criminal nature.
But what would happen in the instance that the EFF does perhaps win this case? What kind of scenario do you think it would present for the GNU and looking at really the strategy for the EFF?
The issue here is that there isn't a competent institution that has found the president to be in serious violation of the law, which can revive Phala Phala. As long as that is the case, it's going to be very difficult to revive the matter. I do think that generally scandals of this nature, and scandal in the sense that the president his property is broken into, and money is found in sofas, banked in sofas, which is a suspect choice of banking method. But unless there was some information that surfaced that proved that the proceeds, this money, was not the proceeds of a sale, that was incomplete, there's nothing that can be done about it. No matter how we can all be in agreement that banking money in a sofa is hardly any, a reputable or acceptable way of keeping money, especially if it's foreign currency.
So as we look at this case, what we know is that the EFF is essentially battling for its soul, trying to perhaps redefine its agenda after the leadership changes. What sort of opportunities does this case present for the EFF?
Thank you. So, in fact, first of all, for the public interest, I too was interested to see how the most competent authority in the land would apply itself to the merits of this issue and make a determination about whether or not Parliament voted to shield the president, when the rational thing to do would have been to institute an impeachment process. Remember, that question arises in the public domain because you had the report was an outcome of a quasi-judicial process led by a former Constitutional Court justice. So it's not just the political gain of the EFF. It's an important matter to be brought before that court. It was quite interesting how, because in fact, initially I thought the issues and the points of arguing this matter would be similar to the Nkandla issue. Yeah. And I was listening to the arguments made today, which in fact bring to question the very weight of that report, the exchanges there that was questioning the basis upon which conclusions were made, which actually were saying perhaps the weight of this report is not the same as an investigation of a public protector that is binding, wherein Parliament could be said to have acted irrationally by not accepting the report. I was among the people that were feeling that the ANC actually used its majority here in order to shield the president. But when you look at the questions being raised about the report, it actually shows that it's not a foregone conclusion that rational logic would have been to make use of that report in the fashion of impeachment proceedings. It's not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, because questions have been raised about the timing. Why now? Why raise this matter now when you could have done so long ago?
Look, there's also that issue. That issue for me is a legal argument for legal fundis to deal with.
Yeah.
But politically, it's important for South Africans to get clarity on the matter. I think that without that case being brought there to the Constitutional Court, we would not have heard, for example, what the thinking is of some of the justices about the status of the report and the quality of that report. So it's a blessing in disguise, in fact, even for the president, that this matter is being ventilated there, because once the Constitutional Court makes a determination on it, it's going to eliminate doubt that may be there among us rational people who would have been questioning, did Parliament did the right thing there when it had a quasi-judicial process? It's one thing to have parliamentarians among themselves debate an issue and vote on it. It's another when they do so after there's a report that has been done by as close as possible to the competent authorities that deal with matters of law and legality.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this conversation, Dr. Ongama Mtimka, political analyst. They're giving us a sense of the legal argument in court with the EFF and President Ramaphosa over the Phala Phala controversy, and of course trying to make sense of the political aspect.